a brofist to you all, and a happy Friday from here at PG Towers, my friends. It is a glory to be back with you. We've had an amazing week. We've had Variety Week. We've had Obra Dinn, Skull and Bones. We've had Papers, Please. We've had Faster Than Light. We've had Apex Legends. We've had... the list goes on, man. The War Within. We've been had a tremendous week, and of course, we've finished out our Friday with Season of Discovery Season 2, and I'm spreading the good word as the good Lady Bex. If you are looking for adventure and some fun to have with your Season of Discovery, Bex has been making riddles for every rune of every spec, every class in the game. It's on our website now. We'll try and put the link below. If you're not looking to just like wowhead them or get them straight from the Discords and go and grab them as quickly as possible, they're all there for you. So you can have a little riddle and a little clue as to where your runes might be, so you can go and hunt them down and have some fun and a bit of discovery in your Season of Discovery. But of course, that's not why you're here right now, you wonderful people. You're here right now because in front of me I presented the tales that you share with me from your life on the internet and world. It's drama time. So you could send a story, and everybody listening to this right now has had some interaction, something that has happened with somebody in the online world that has been a little bit strange, a little bit odd, a little bit in the weird world, and we'd love you to share it with us, because I've shared my stories, and you can share yours too, and you can just send them to drama@preachgaming.com. Just before we got started here, I was browsing the names here. I think I want to start with this, because it looks like the most fun, and it's called Raiding with Boomers. Raiding with Boomers. As I did complete BFD for the first time today. We got it done, which was great. Featuring Vulgate, Parasweepers, our wonderful website supporters who have their names lit up in lights here on Drama Time. There you go, my friends. There you go. We're in. We don't need a guild name from our live audience right here, but that's okay. Okay, here we go. Hello, Preacher! I have written several stories to you in the past, and you'll be glad to hear that this tale doesn't involve any homophobic angry at the singular gay Czechman, or any genius-level IQ off-tanks, although it does tangentially involve the crazy German stalker raid leader from a Secret Admirer story I sent you. There may be a touch as... oh, God... a trigger warning. There may be some things that borderline divorce, though. Not too bad. Divorce happens regularly. I don't think... well, I don't care to judge if that upsets somebody. Ladies and gentlemen who are listening here right now, take yourself back to the deep, dark past of the Burning Crusade, the original. Here I am, picture me, playing a dwarf hunter in a nice, relatively chill raiding guild, which contains several different types of family groups. As well as family groups? Okay. As well as non-family people like me. The youngest member of our guild, who did come along to the raids with us, was 8 years old. I would not raid with my son. 8 years old. That's below the acceptable age, sir. I just want to let you know the age limit on the box says no to that. And the oldest member of the guild being, well, we shall get to that. We didn't quite have enough people to raid 25, man. And so a large amount of our raiding, as was the truth for many during the Burning Crusade, was, of course, that sweet, sweet Karazhan, and eventually Zulaman when that came along. We did do some joint merger raids with another English-speaking guild, but it didn't work out. And it resulted in the guild moving eventually to transfer servers. Okay, so they all moved. But this was long before server transfers had been mooted. I was the guild's top DPSer on my dwarfy hunter. I was playing a marksman hunter because I thought BM was boring. Almost always topping the damage meter unless I died, and usually by quite a large margin compared to the rest of the players. Now, I want to be clear. I'm not saying this as if I had some kind of world-beating amazing DPS. The truth is, I really wasn't that good. And certainly if this was modern day World of Warcraft, with passes and all that bollocks, I suspect I would have been middle of the road at best, if not towards the lower end of things. But the thing about raid DPS is you can always touch the damage meter if everyone else is giga trash. Bringing flasks, food, or anything beyond mana and health potions to raids, our guild frowned upon such elitist activities. During the Burning Crusade, you say, when there were so many buff potions they had to nerf the amount you could have, your guild felt not worth it. Frowned upon for using potions. You're making me feel bad. I just used potions and buffs in Black Fathom Deeps in Classic. Our raiding team fluctuated from week to week with a core group of maybe 7 or 8 who were there most weeks, including me, and then a rotating cast of family and friends who would fill in those empty slots. Oh, joy. The 8-year-old's coming tonight. What a dream. I obviously can't remember everyone who played with us, but a few of these people do stick in my memory, including the raiders that title of this story is about. But we're getting there soon. So, ladies and gentlemen, who compromised our intrepid group of raiders? Well, in no particular order, we had a group of 5 Norwegian kids, all aged 13 to 14. They all played paladins. Wow. Okay. We've got 5 tween paladins. Excellent. Only one of them from memory ever made it into the raiding team as a healer, and it was genuinely adorable to see just how excited his friends was that he had made it to raider. Oh. Oh, that's really cute. Like, all his friends cheered him on. Oh, that's really nice. The problem, as some of you may have guessed... Oh, I didn't guess. Before I read on, what's the problem? They all want to get into the raid, surely? Well, they cheered him on for getting in there. Bedtime? Oh my god, it can't be. No way. Well, you're absolutely right. From what I can remember, we raided quite late at night. We would start between 8 and 11 UK, which is... Norway is ahead of the... Yeah, is Norway an hour? Is it 9:12? Norway's 1 hour ahead, right? Which is 9 till midnight in Norway. So while he was actually pretty good at healing... Oh, could play a Holy Paladin in TBC. Actually, the business. Actually, the business. He had to suddenly disappear often during our raids. I'm assuming, but he never confirmed it. It was because his parents realized he was playing WoW instead of being in bed. Although he never got actively banned from playing the game as far as I could tell, but maybe they were very forgiving parents. We, of course, had a husband and wife duo who both played Warlocks. And they had given themselves matching character names. That is dies of cringe. That is 100% dies of cringe. Matching character names. Jesus. The husband was the more regular of the duo, and I assume his wife was busy looking after their many children. I'm not making this up for drama time. I'm pretty sure between them they had 9 children. That poor woman. 9? 9 children. That poor, poor woman. Jesus Christ. 9. He was a fairly decent DPSer who worked as an ice cream man IRL. Aww. He's got 9 kids and he's an ice cream man. That dad is a legend. That dad is a straight up legend. He rocks up with his fucking music playing. Although with the amount of children they had, I'm not sure ice cream was the only thing he was selling from that truck. True, actually. At least in the UK, it was pretty well known, at least in the 90s, that the ice cream men sold porn and cigarettes. Like, that was a pretty common piece of knowledge for the UK ice cream men, is they sold porn and cigarettes. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's the same now. Probably weed as well, but I definitely knew that they were doing porn porn and stuff out of the ice cream trucks. You would just see, like, random adults queuing up for a flake. Flake and a tape. They used to... In fact, I know this because they used to sell cigarettes by the cigarette and not by the packet. So the ice cream men used to sell like 3 cigarettes for people who didn't have any money. And that's where you could get that. That's how it used to work in the UK. You could get an ice lolly and 4 cigarettes or something like that. Yeah, it was like 20p a time, something like that. Anyway, me, the Warlock guy, and several others had a great time shooting the shit in TeamSpeak until the wee hours, and he was genuinely just a really nice guy. He did, however, have the most explosive bowels on Earth, and he would regularly have to leave the raid to go to the toilet. We were pretty sure he had Crohn's disease or the like, and the fact, because he needed to shit often every 2 hours. A lot of people need to AFK your raid. The problem was he would come back and describe what he had done. Oh, Loz. We don't need that, Loz. He would say whether the seat was warm or cold. We don't want to know. We don't want to know. He would tell... I'm actually going to spare you guys and skip some of these details that are currently in the story. Let's just say he would share many details about his visit to the toilet. I was actually thinking back, it was quite distracting. I knew far more about this man's intestinal movements than I knew about my own. Among our core raiding group, though, we also had another husband and wife, the wife being the guild master from a previous story I sent you, and one woman in particular, Vulgate, who, looking back, was the source of most of our problems. She joined the guild with a couple of the remaining members of a family guild that had imploded at some point during vanilla. It turned out that Vulgate started playing WoW because her grandchildren had moved away, and so as they played World of Warcraft, she started playing to keep in contact. Aww. Oh, this story is so cute so far, besides the shitting period, which is what it is, but that's cool. It turned out that Vulgate really enjoyed World of Warcraft, a lot more than her grandchildren did, as they quit playing and she didn't. That's baller. Pussies. Fucking pussies. So she ended up in our guild with 2 other members of her family. I have no idea what their specific relations were, with all the family sharing similar character names. So, why was Vulgate a source of problems? It turned out that Vulgate was 78 years old. Okay. And would often go AFK in our raids, to which she told us fairly quickly that sometimes she was falling asleep. Oh, it's annoying, but it's really cute. It's super cute. She needs a nap. Yeah, it's annoying, but it's really cute. Nana's having a nap while she's fucking grinding out Karazhan or some sort of Tabulk rep. She's just falling asleep. She never spoke in voice comms, and our raid leader was aware that she was falling asleep. But as she was now his friend, he let it slide. Okay, I mean, that's not okay. I can't remember when the rest of the guild found out that this is why she would go AFK while we were raiding. It's possible we didn't even find out during that expansion, but it did explain when she was on her priest sometimes, she was great, and then other times people would just start dying and she'd stop healing. It also explained while she would play on her mage, her DPS numbers were all over the place, let's say. So, why was Vulgate falling asleep so often during the raids? Because she's old as fuck. It could be... Oh, what? It could be... It's something else. It could be the simple answer that she was 78 years old and was just tired because we were raiding at 11 PM at night. But there was another possible answer. One that never occurred to me at the time and occurred to me while thinking about writing this story that is probably more likely. Remember back to when I mentioned that she started playing WoW because she wanted to spend time with her grandchildren who had moved away. Well, the family were all from Hong Kong, but were living in the UK. And thinking back, it wouldn't make any sense for all of her grandchildren and extended family to roll on the EU servers if they lived in Hong Kong. The grandchildren had moved away, So was Vulgate actually playing WoW from Hong Kong on the EU servers? Yeah, probably. It would certainly explain why she fell asleep so regularly, as our raid times were about 4 a.m. raid start in Hong Kong. That is a hardcore granny if that's the case. That is one hardcore granny if that's the case. Just rocking through the fuck. Hey, I have got mad respect for this granny. Huge amounts of respect. In the end, it didn't really matter because whatever the reason, she would fall asleep in the raids. No, not really. Well, it didn't really matter that she fell asleep. What did it even matter that she fell asleep during the raids? No, not really. And TBC raiding is some of the fondest memories of me playing World of Warcraft. Oh, that's cool that you didn't get angry at her. But at the start of the story, you mentioned a touch of borderline divorce. Well, this is not the end of the story with Sleepy Granny. You'll notice that the title of this story is Raiding with Boomers. Plural. We had another elderly woman in the guild. What the fuck? How are you attracting these people? How are you attracting, like, the elderly? What kind of fucking catnip are you putting out on the doorstep to attract all these families and stuff? You must be advertising as a family-based guild. That is the only explanation, is you're actually advertising it. Parasweepers and Nino. They joined our guild as a mother-daughter combo from Serbia. Nina played a mage and was in her 40s, and Parasweepers played a paladin, but was of an unknown age. However, she was the mother of the two. So whatever her age was, she was old enough to have a daughter in her 40s, so we guessed she was 60 plus. Okay. Age unknown. Yeah, mystery arrives. Nino was pretty good DPS, usually second behind me, and Parasweepers was a reasonable-ish healer, who I almost certain had the exact same issues as Vulgate did, because I'm pretty sure she would also fall asleep in our raids towards the end. When 20% of your raid is sleeping boomers, and in some cases they were both the healers, your raids could go bad really quick. But I told you of divorce. So what of the divorce? One day, Parasweepers suddenly stopped playing World of Warcraft, and after some period of time, we all asked Nino what happened. Where's your mum? Is she okay? Is she ill? Is she fine? Has her computer broken? All these sorts of questions, but there's not a chance in hell any of us were going to guess what it was. So what happened? Nino, being in her 40s, didn't live with her parents, and it turned out that one evening her father had gone out for the night to do something. Did he actually go to the store to get some milk? He didn't, for whatever reason, take his house keys with him. Maybe they only had one set. And Parasweepers was supposed to let him in when he came back from the night out. The problem was, Parasweepers fell asleep playing World of Warcraft with her headset on and couldn't heed the doorbell or his frantic knocking to get back into the house. As a solution, Parasweeper's husband slept in the car because he couldn't get back into the house. He was understandably quite annoyed about this and was threatening divorce because of her World of Warcraft addiction. Can you imagine getting divorced over World of Warcraft in your 60s? How do you even tell the local social club what's going on? Right? How do you tell your friends what's happening at 60? Also, don't forget your fucking keys when you leave the house, dipshit. It's on you as well. Did that divorce actually happen? After he cooled down, it probably didn't, but Parasweepers did quit World of Warcraft to save her marriage. We never saw her again. Oh. Oh, that's so sad. Just get a set of keys, tie them to him, give him a keychain or something. Finding a hobby at that age that you engage with and love. Oh, that's so fucking sad. She was having a really good time playing World of Warcraft and she was getting to raid. Man, that's really sad. So as the common saying goes, don't raid with kids, but also maybe add a clause to don't raid with gigaboomers, particularly those who get sleepy during the raid. Just think about yourself, Preach. In 5 or 6 years, you'll be 60, and maybe you'll fall asleep while streaming. Just had to slip that motherfucker in at the end, didn't you? You really did. You just had to slip that fucking shit in. P.S. As something completely unrelated to this story, my 11-year-old turned to me earlier this week saying, "Daddy, you've got a few more years left in you." And then tried to dig himself a further hole by saying, "Probably around 30. So there you have it, chat. I'm probably dead, according to my 11-year-old, by 68. To be fair, someone near 40 to a kid looks like actual, like an ancient relic that has been dug up from the ground. I see it in my kids' eyes. I see it. Cheers all, and thank you for listening to another one of my stories. Honestly, that is one of the cutest drama stories we've ever had. It had drama, but God, it was cute. God, it was cute. I like that a lot. I like that one. That was nice. It didn't make me feel terrible. Okay. Here we go. Black House, Satorid, alright. Hansen, Blind Hopes. Have I got enough room for all these names? I hope so. Blind Hopes, Yerba, and Caltrek are all stars in this story. Entitled, my friends, The Queen of Drama. Do you want to place your bets now? Is this a lady who is manipulating the boys for free stuff? Or is it somebody who is completely not into guys flirting with her and leave me the fuck alone? Those are the two common ones. Simpler. Well, yes. Free stuff, the former, both, maybe. Hello, Preacher! Oh, okay. I know you usually cover tales from MMO world, but you also want stories from the online world. Yes, yes, yes. Online interaction with other human beings is our forte. I have a tale from that best game of all time. The game that everybody who is worth a piss at any video game has played at some point in their life. Can anyone guess what it is? What is a game we've likely all played if they're going to be good? Dota's a good guess. It's not Dota, though. It's not COD. No. Ooh, it's not mentioned yet, actually. I guarantee everybody watching this has played this game. I guarantee you've all played it at some point. I'll be amazed if you haven't. FIFA? No. CSGO is a good guess. You're close with CSGO. You're close. It's not CS. Ooh. Oh, no one's got it. Interesting. Okay. Oh, there it is. Kingpin nails it. Team Fortress 2. I bet you can guess my main in that game. Team Fortress 2. TF2 is a game that is very near and dear to my heart, and I'm sure many other people. I played it religiously for over 10 years, and I made so many friends from my time on the pubby servers, as well as the competitive Highlander scene. Sure, there were definitely some freaks and weirdos in that community, but I dealt with a lot of drama and strange people on the internet prior to playing TF2. I was salted and hard. You've never played it? Really? You should. It's still amazing. Like, TF2 still totally is amazing today. It's great. And I'm sure it's still probably pretty popular. So, I went into the game with a very low tolerance for dumb bullshit. And ended up with very few drama stories over my 10 years of playing the game. But despite having a crisp radar for bullshit, one person just kept showing up over the years and bringing their personal fucking drama into my peaceful life. So, let us start with the first time I ever heard the name Weeping Willow. No, Caltrek. I had just joined a new Highlander team and was getting to know my teammates. They seemed mostly like normal people and were a lot of fun to play with, even if we weren't the best team in our division. In case anyone was wondering, I played Spy. Yes, I'm a filthy Spy main, and I have 2,000 hours on Spy. Of course you do. Of course you do. One day, while I'm pugging me some Highlander games, I suddenly got a message on Steam from a friend of mine, Blakos. The pug I had joined was about to start when I got this DM, and it just said something like, Are you free to talk right now? There's some people you really need to talk to. I told him I was busy right now, but I could talk after this game. It wasn't easy to get the spy spot in a pug unless you're one of the few top spies on the server, and I was excited that I had been picked after waiting for a long time. Whatever Black Ops wanted to talk about, it could wait until I had some fun, but suddenly I was pulled into a group chat. I don't know if this is still a feature on Steam, but at least at the time, if someone put you in a group chat, you were in it. There was no accept or decline, so here I was just trying to play my game and get some Highlander practice when I was suddenly in a group chat with two girls I didn't know and Black Ops. The two girls, let's call them Yerba and Caltrek, began telling a tale, weaving a story about how awful Blind Hopes, the pyro on my Highlander team, was. Apparently he had been dating Caltrek while also dating Yerba's friend, who for some reason was not in this group chat, but Yerba had taken it upon herself to speak on her behalf because she was so upset. Oh, Jesus Christ. How old are you? My immediate response, if I was ever pulled into a chat like this, was, and this has what to do with me? Genuinely, what the fuck does this have to do with me? Question mark. It's probably a 3 question mark situation. Like, what? They had just found out about each other and were mad about it. Okay. Don't get me wrong, it's horrible to find out you've been cheated on. But I was pretty annoyed because I just told Black Ops I'm gaming. Dude, I'm gaming. Also, I had no idea how this had anything to do with me. Blind Hopes was just a guy on my team that I'd only been a part of for like 4 weeks. So I told them that. And they did not appreciate my response to what they considered to be a very serious situation. They then said I don't have to lie and that they know I'm dating Blind Hopes and that they were there to support me and be on my side since I obviously wasn't aware that Blind Hopes had been dating Caltrek and Yerba's friend. You can imagine her face. I am not dating Blind Hopes. In fact, I had a boyfriend who I was in a very good relationship with. And as far as I knew, Blind Hopes had never shown any signals from me about any romantic interest. We did get along well. We played in public service together. We would shoot the shit, but we're on the same team. And there was usually a few other people from the team with us, but that's literally it. I was getting more annoyed. The pug had started now. The game's going, and I do not like being pulled into some bullshit drama. I probably could have been nicer about it, but like I said, I have a low tolerance for this sort of shit and definitely did not want to get involved with other people's boyfriend drama. I would have closed the chat if I didn't feel the need to clear up the misunderstanding. Oh, you see? Yeah. Fuck that. I'm not dating Blind Hopes. Don't know where you got it from. Bye. Deal with it. I didn't need there to be some rumors floating around that I was dating someone on my team, especially when it wasn't true. To be fair, I can see that. Yeah, they're going to start spreading bullshit. I told them I'm not dating Blind Hopes. I was sorry he was a piece of shit to them. For some reason, Yerba started typing in all caps. Why doesn't she believe us? Now, although this happened many years before I write this to you, Mike, I'll never forget that specific sentence because I didn't say anything to insinuate that I didn't believe them. It was the most bizarre, weird response to me just saying, I'm sorry about what happened to you, but I'm not dating him. But because they thought I didn't believe them, they started bringing up more examples of how Blind Hopes took advantage of Caltrek by having her pay his rent. Oh, no. They then said, will you believe us now? And linked a screenshot of the wire transfer. What is happening right now? I can't express to you how little I understand of what is happening right now. Please stop. Please let me just go and play my game. They then continued telling me more things about Blind Hopes and how horrible he was. He was manipulative boyfriend to both Caltrek and Yerba's friend. I don't remember much of the details anyway, so besides the rent thing, because of how insane it was that I was now sent a screenshot of this. At this point, Mike, I had repeated myself many, many times to point out, I am really sorry this happened to you, but I have nothing to do with Blind Hopes. I really barely know him. It felt like they were just ignoring me. So I decided to just leave the chat and fuck it off. And I went back to focus on the pug that I had been playing terribly because I had been so distracted by this nonsense. I probably wouldn't have been so angry about the odd interaction if it hadn't happened during my pug, which I had literally waited all day to play. Unfortunately, because of how distracted I was, I did play terribly and probably made some people never want to let me queue up again. Bastard! Of course, afterwards, though, curiosity, as it often does, my friends, got the best of me. I DM'd Blind Hopes. Why do these two girls, who I've never met before, think that we're dating? He groaned. He explained, look, I dated Yerba's friend. I broke up with her in the summer. And that me and Caltrek had never even dated. Caltrek just had feelings for me. We have never dated in any way. He didn't know why they thought the two of us were dating, but he said both of them turned out to be very jealous of other women that he hung out with. I said it's none of my business, but let him know they showed me pictures of wire transfers. I felt he should know that because there was some private information in that picture that they were clearly sharing. And this really pissed him off. He said, I had been really struggling with rent and Caltrek had offered months ago to help him pay it. He declined, not wanting her to feel like she had to do that, especially because he knew how she felt about him and it would send the wrong message. She offered more times until he finally reached a point where he just wouldn't be able to pay the rent and accepted. He swore he had never begged her for money and asked a bunch of times to make sure she was fine with doing it. He wasn't sure when he could pay her back. She promised he didn't owe her anything. But he still felt really bad that he had gotten to the point where he needed help from a stranger, essentially, to pay his rent. Yeah. You remember that time there was non-committal and completely free loans between friends? Remember that? No strings attached. Especially for people you barely know. You remember when that happened? I'll just say this. I did not care who was telling the truth. It's not my fucking problem. I really like you, Arthur. I do a lot. That's great, Blind Hopes. Again, to reiterate, I don't give a fuck. I really don't care. I don't want your side of the story, and I don't want that side of the story. I want the story to go away. That's what I would like to have happen. Thank you very much. Quite frankly, even though the girls had left a bad impression on me, I did believe them. I didn't get the feeling Blind Hopes was necessarily lying either, but I did get the sense he was terrible with women in relationships and probably led Caltrek on. Whether it was intentional or not, I don't know. It sounded like he liked her as a friend, but she wanted more. After I got over this initial frustration with how I got dragged into this drama at an inopportune time, I eventually started to think the situation was pretty funny. It was just so absurd. All the details every side was just giving me for some reason, even though I didn't know anything to do with it. And drama, honestly, is pretty fun when it's not yours. That's not true. It's not like we would turn it into a weekly entertainment show. That's really wrong what you just said. Drama is bad. That's really incorrect. Well, I definitely would not recommend Blind Hopes as a person to date. He continued to play on my team, and he and I remained friends. He would even fill me in on some of the continuing drama with Caltrek until he eventually did cut her off as a friend, saying that she had become toxic. Oh no. Even though he and I were friends, I kind of assumed he was an arsehole in the whole thing, and I felt a bit bad for Caltrek. When I was in that one group chat with the girls, Caltrek had spoken very politely to me, while Yerba had been the aggressive caps lock spreader. Caltrek had just seemed very hurt and very sad about the situation. Oh. But that was the last I heard of Caltrek for a while. In fact, that one group chat was really the only time I had ever spoken with her. I knew she was also part of the Highlander community, which is how she had met Blind Hopes, but she was in a lower poor people division than me, and our paths never crossed again because I don't play with noobs. Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta let people go. My old team eventually disbanded at the end of the season and we all went our separate ways. I still kept in touch with some of them, but we all drifted apart, so Blind Hopes and his lady drama just drifted off into the distance. But of all the people, Caltrek did not. Let's go forward a year. 12 months, my friends. My friend Black Oz, the one who had helped the two girls get into the group chat with me by being mutual friends between all of us, started to act strangely. I was pretty good friends with this guy, and he and I played a lot on some of the public servers. He was a fellow spy main, and he and I often talked a lot about spy gameplay, tips and tricks. He used to join me through Steam all the time, but I hadn't seen him lately. Then one day, I joined a server he was in and said, "Hey, Black Oz, not seen you in a while." He didn't respond. In fact, he immediately left the server. I thought this kind of odd. We'd always been super friendly with each other. And then I noticed a name in the server that I had not seen for 12 months. Caltrek was there. I didn't think much of it. I just thought it was a bit awkward because of that group chat over a year ago, and it was very weird. I ignored her and just played in the server for a while, and she eventually left the server too. Concerned, though, I later DM'd Black Oz because he just hadn't seen my in-game message and coincidentally had left the server at the same time, perhaps because Caltrek was there. So I sent a friendly message. I asked him how he'd been doing. I hadn't seen him for a while. And I was a bit bummed he left the server before we actually got to game together. Ladies and gentlemen of this listening audience here, his response blew my mind. He told me the reason he left was because he had been playing with Caltrek. Apparently, she had told him on multiple occasions that she was terrified of me. Which is also why he had stopped joining the servers I was in, because they had been playing together a lot. He had left the server I joined and told Caltrek that she was able to leave without being attacked by me. Apparently, Caltrek didn't leave, so in her way, she was standing up to me. And so that I wouldn't think that she was afraid of me. So through the anxiety, she had forced herself to stay on the server and play. According to Black Oz, she was extremely distressed the entire time that we were on the same server. Yes, Mike, it was fucking weird. I was baffled. I was baffled that Caltrek was afraid of me, considering I'd only spoken to her once, literally once, over a year ago, about something I hadn't even been involved with. I know I didn't say anything mean to her in that interaction. Maybe I did seem frustration, but I had no idea what I could possibly have said. What words I could have typed onto that keyboard that would make her terrified of me, so scared of me that she couldn't be in the same Team Fortress server. But apparently whatever I did to make her feel this way had warranted her explaining it to Black Oz multiple times. And it was strange to see Black Oz take her side. We had been friends for a really, really long time. Up until now, he'd always been really nice and friendly. He seemed like a shell of himself. It was clear he had a crush on Caltrek. Duh, we can all tell that. And he cared a lot about her and seemed completely blind to all the red flags. I will point this out. Our boy Black Oz, 17. Never had a girlfriend. Now he's found a gamer girl. I felt bad for him. Because we all know what's going on there. I was only 19 myself at the time, but I had had bad experiences trying to warn a friend about their love interests as red flags. It's never gone well for me and has led to friendships ending, so I mostly just kept my mouth shut. I gently tried to tell him that her mental health is not his responsibility. Apparently, which may come as a shock to you guys, she had some mental health issues. And she was using him as a go-between therapist. Oh no. I often find 17-year-olds are very good for these kinds of things, with their world experience and grounded attitude. 17-year-olds who I would go to with my mental health issues, for sure. He replied to me saying he knows he's not responsible, but it makes her feel better. And he wanted to give her that, if nothing else. He really cared for her, and knew that she cared for him too underneath it all. I just want to die, man. I just want to die. I just want to die. Underneath all this. In fact, once she had told him she had feelings for him, but she was in no place to have a relationship. Classic. Absolutely classic. There it is. There it is. Absolutely classic. It's not that. It's not that. It's just that I'm not in a place right now. Okay. It made my skin crawl all the way up and over my head. Black Horse was my friend, but he was a 70-year-old in high school. Caltrek was apparently 30 years old. That's oof with 4 O's. Oof. Oof. I politely expressed my concern, but he said that it was the age was the real reason they weren't in a relationship. Because it would be illegal, apparently. 17? This is US, I guess? 17 is considered a minor? Some states in the US. Yeah, I'm guessing 17 is considered a minor. Okay. I'm not going down that road. Someone's got to say something cringe. Let's move on. I very carefully, very tenderly, very gently, carefully tried to point out that she still shouldn't have told a 17-year-old that she had feelings for him, and she shouldn't be using a 17-year-old as a therapist. This is the point where he started to get defensive. And I quickly remembered all the times that warning a friend about someone they have a crush on went wrong. He promised me that he knows. He knows. Nothing could ever happen between them romantically, and he understands that. And we left the conversation at that point. He knows. He knows. But you know what it is about age? It keeps going up. A few months later, Black Horse confided in me that Caltrek had stopped talking with him, and he was utterly heartbroken. No, it's not funny, right? I mean, it's a little funny. Even though he knew they couldn't actually be together, he knew underneath it all they loved each other. Soulmates, separated by clocks. My friends, soulmates. If only she could see. If only she could see. But apparently, she had fallen for someone else. There's still a chance, Black Horse. There's still a chance. You just got to be a believer. There's still a chance. Even though, of course, for us outsiders, this was not a surprise. I did feel bad for him. He had introduced her to his friends group, who had to be a bunch of other really good spy mains, and now felt he couldn't hang out with them anymore because she didn't leave his friends group. And the guy that she really fancied now was in that group. Dude, you fucking cooked your own friends group? That's harsh. You cooked your own friends group. That's harsh. I didn't know the guy personally, but I knew of him because he was one of the best players out there. Oh, she loves them spy skills. I also knew he was a complete fucking gigaweeb, and that he and Caltrek had fallen for each other watching anime. I fucking knew she was an anime fan. Another sign to stay away from anime. I fucking knew it. I didn't want to say it. But I knew it was coming. I could smell it. I could smell it a fucking mile away. They both sat there watching One Piece in dead silence for 9 hours at a time. Guaranteed. Fucking knew it. Although I didn't say this to Black Ops because I was relieved that he had dodged that bullet. Ever since he had been close with Caltrek, he was miserable all the fucking time. He was always worried about all the crises going on throughout their life. And even though I knew he was miserable now too, he would recover from this one and not have her pouring the toxic poison into his ear. I thought to myself, finally, now I can have my friend back and be free of the Caltrek drama. Ladies and gentlemen, I was incorrect. Now, as weird as this sounds, 2 years passed. 2 years passed before her name entered my life again. 2 years. There was a time where I was streaming on Twitch, and I noticed that someone in my viewer list had the exact same username as her Steam name. She's watching. I didn't bring it up. And besides that, I never heard from her. Is Caltrek here with us now? Yeah, exactly. Then one day, I was catching up with an old TF2 friend, Satorid. Satorid mentioned that he knew of 2 of his friends who were dating each other and that it was pretty cool that couples were finding love in TF2. Those 2 people, Hansen and Caltrek. This shocked me. Hansen was someone I'd been very good friends with, but had fallen out of touch with a couple of months prior. Now it made sense, because when he had fallen out of touch was around the time he and Caltrek had apparently started dating. In the past with Black Ops and Blind Hopes, I had mostly kept my opinions about Caltrek to myself. I had made sure nothing I outwardly said could be quoted as if I had anything negative about her. I've been careful about it because I know that your words can come back and bite you in the ass. Really? You're telling me that? You know, today we went through our sub-notification files. It's not a good read of the titles of all of those files is what I'd want to say. It's not a good read. I just want to be clear. But now, fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck that. Upon hearing that she was dating another one of my friends, who happened to also be one of the best spy players at the time, I couldn't contain it. So Satorid, I couldn't help but saying, oh fucking god, not Caltrek. Satorid seemed bothered by this. Apparently he actually lived near Caltrek IRL and had met her in person. They were real life friends. Upon hearing this, I said, sorry. It's just that, and for my defense, it is the 3rd friend of mine she happens to be getting involved with. I can't help but be worried for Hansen because he's a great guy and things seemingly always end poorly with her. Satorid said some stuff that I had heard before from Black House and Blind Hopes in the past. She's a nice girl. She has a lot of demons. That struck a nerve. I said, yeah, I've heard that before. And I gave him a summary of the bullshit that had happened with Black Ops and Blind Hopes. That's when I did self-reflect very quickly that I had fully released all my opinions on Caltrek to her IRL friend. So I tried to play damage control. I apologized again for saying something negative about his real-life friend, that I didn't actually really know her, and literally had only ever realistically in 3 years spoken to her one time in one group chat. And then I finished by saying, let's not bring it up to Hansen or Caltrek, because it's not my place to make anyone feel uncomfortable. And I'll be seeing you later on. Bye. Saved. Oh, you saved it. You totally saved it. You were right out of that hole. You built such a sturdy ladder. I can't see this being a problem. He promised me he would never tell a soul. Thumbs up, buddy. Thumbs up. I will never tell anybody about this, I'm sure. About 30 minutes later, Hansen messaged me. He was fucking furious. He said he had heard I'd been spreading rumors about Caltrek across the entire TF2 community. Fuck's sake. He said that she had been getting bullied online and a group of people from the TF2 community had been harassing her and leaving nasty comments on her Steam profile and creating threads on forums about her, and that it seems now from what he's just heard that maybe I'm the ringleader. Well, I mean... Okay. We're playing D. We're playing D here. We got it. We can cover this goal. I politely explained to Hansen I had no idea she was being harassed, and I promised that that is nothing to do with me. I asked him who told him that I was spreading rumors, although of course I knew. After all, I had never really shared my Caltrek stories with literally anyone until 30 fucking minutes ago with Satorid. Hansen said it doesn't matter who it was. But continued to type angrily at me about how he can't be friends with someone who's a shit stirrer like me. I'll be honest, guys, that really hurt to hear. Hansen and I had been really close friends for a long time, and he's one of the sweetest people I knew. Guys, fellas, let's double check the rules while we're all here today, okay? Let's double check the rules. Fellas, your mate is dating a complete twat, right? We've all seen it. We've all witnessed it. But your mate says, what do you think of my new girlfriend? What do you say? Seems all right, yeah? That's it. That's it. Seems all right, yeah? Especially when they're in the lovey-dovey stage. You only bring up there may be a problem if he comes to you saying, I don't know, she was a bit of a dick last night. If they're in the lovey-dovey stage, maybe they've not even had sex yet. That's a friendship destroyer right there. Got it. So it seems all right, yeah? Seems all right. Seems pretty good. When he raises a concern, then you can say something. Only then. It hurt me to hear this. It was kind of terrifying to see him so mad because in all the time I had known him, I had never seen Hansen angry. He was well known in the community for being a talented player and also one of the nicest, chillest people who was playing today. But I was pissed too. This is the third fucking time that a friendship of mine has been compromised because of this girl I don't even fucking know. I have spoken to her a single time. Once in 3 years. And somehow, this girl keeps causing me friendship problems. It had literally been years since that group chat and she was still showing up like a fucking STD. I managed to calm the situation down a bit by screenshotting my conversation with Satorid and sharing it with Hansen. I said, obviously, Satorid is the one that had made you think I was spreading rumors about Caltrek. I've never even mentioned my opinions about Caltrek until now. I didn't know she was being harassed, and I promise that is nothing to do with me. No matter how I feel about her, harassment is never okay. I don't know exactly what Satorid said to you, but this is the actual words that I used. Judge for yourself with what I actually said if you think this is harassment and spreading rumors. Hansen is a baller. Hansen read through it and calmed down. He said, I'm not going to end our friendship over this, but got defensive over a part of screenshots where I mentioned Caltrek had gotten involved with Blackhouse. Because Caltrek had a different version of that story, shockingly. Apparently, Caltrek had told Hansen about her friendship with Black Host and had described it as very one-sided, and that she never had feelings for him. Black House just thought there was something between them, even though there wasn't, and she never did anything to encourage it. I didn't argue. Of course I didn't argue. I can't say anything remotely bad about Caltrek without seeming like a villain here. Somehow this woman attracted men despite 1,000 red flags and made them act completely differently. Blind Hopes, Blackhouse, Satorid, Hansen all had the same almost pre-prepared, pre-planned words about her. She was someone with demons, but she was really nice. And all of them felt like all she needed was someone to protect her. That's all it's going to take, guys. And it's all going to be fine. Someone to protect her. Even though Hansen said he wouldn't end our friendship, we didn't speak again for years. I stopped playing TF2 as much, moved on to other games, and Caltrek was a very distant memory. One day, out of nostalgia or whatever, I installed and booted up TF2. When I logged in, Hansen messaged me. Hey, it's good to see you still playing TF2. It was a lovely surprise. Hansen was back. Hansen seemed like his old cheerful self again. We caught up a bit, remembering some old inside jokes and fond memories. Then this motherfucker... Oh, and then... I had the wrong inflection. Then this motherfucker who hadn't spoke to me for fucking years had the gall to say, I don't know why we even stopped talking. We got along so well. Classic. I can't even remember what it was. Who knows, right? You know what? He wasn't my friend anymore. We hadn't spoken in years. And in my brain, it just fired back with one response. Fuck this kid. Fuck this kid. I called him out for being the one who stopped talking to me because of fucking Caltrek. Even though he hadn't said it yet, I assumed he was no longer with Caltrek because he wasn't acting like a complete twat. And shockingly, I was correct. Hansen seemed very embarrassed. He actually didn't remember the confrontation he had with me. I don't remember us having that conversation. Did we? Did that happen? I don't remember that. I think I was drunk. I was probably blackout drunk. Yeah. But he said they had ended things quite some time ago. Even though we were just typing over DMs, I could tell how exhausted Caltrek made him. I never did learn what happened between them. Hansen clammed up immediately when I asked and said he didn't want to talk about it. It was clear whatever happened, it hurt him. He was over it. He and I are good now, and we still talk every now and then. And that was the last time I heard of Caltrek. I think. I don't even play TF2 anymore, so for all I know, she's still dating her way through that game, finding the next best spy to date. To this day, though, I think about her. This girl, who I've never met, who I've spoken to one time in a Steam group chat. She never destroyed any of my friendships completely. It was sad to see how all the guys she got involved with changed while being around her. Even though they cared for her or loved... Even though they believed they cared for her or loved her. None of them were happy while she was there. And to this day, I'm amazed how much of an impact this one person, who I talked to one time 8 years ago, had on my life while I tried to avoid her as much as possible. Perhaps some people might criticize me for not getting more involved with helping my friends and warning them of what a disaster she was. I still think that anything I said would have made things worse. I agree. I think that's true. Very, very hard to interrupt an infatuated dude, especially at that age. It's kind of a choo-choo Charles, all full steam ahead, with guys who are in the early stages of a crush. That is like a werewolf turning under the full moon. That's not easy to put a stop to that. But I also just didn't want to be a part of her life, although she was such a big part of mine. Of course, despite my best efforts, she always found a way to make her drama mine too. But that's the end, for now, at least I hope it is, of the legend of Caltrek. So be careful out there if you boot up TF2 and you get good and Caltrek enters your life. Of course, Caltrek is not the real name, so just beware, ladies and gentlemen. Just beware. And thank you for a wonderful drama story. There is one more drama story in front of me about the super arsehole GM, but we will save that for another time. There will be a stream this weekend. I don't know when it's going to be. But we'll be playing some Ratopia. It's got to be happening. We'll be playing some Ratopia. I will confirm with my wife, who's not called me back today. I'm slightly concerned. I've called her several times today and she's not replied, but we'll see what's going on. Well, for now, from us here at PG, have a great weekend. I will be around. We will save any streaming of Season of Discovery till Monday. We'll be back Monday morning with that. And remember, check the website if you're playing Season of Discovery and you do want to discover things and you would just like some hints as to where to go and find your runes instead of just the straight up answers. PreachGaming.com has you covered as they are found and as they are reported. Bex will be adding riddles for you on there. So go and check that out. Thank you for an amazing week. I'll see you again at least on Monday, but we will be around this weekend. Bye, everybody.